All right, so this is my first Tomb Raider video. Just started playing Tomb Raider about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks. And can't quite tell how far into it I am. I think I'm about a third of the way into it based on some trophies that I've received. Well, actually, the game told me I was roughly about 35% done, but I don't know if that means in terms of like the main quests or just the collectibles or what it means. But anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about this game. I'm obviously very, very late to playing it. It's almost a year old, or I'm sorry, 10 years old. And the series itself is much older than that. And I remember being around. I mean, I was around. I had a PlayStation 1 back when the first Tomb Raider came out. I had no interest in it. I don't really know why. I wasn't really a big fan of the early generation, like third-person 3D, run around in a 3D environment type games. I think I thought that Super Mario N64's Super Mario, to me, it was just too hard, and it just kind of turned me off to the whole genre. In fact, I remember a time thinking that when games went 3D, that was the point at which they had sort of left me behind, and that I would never be able to catch up. And then I went for like years, like not playing any games except for Final Fantasy games. And then, I got introduced to Dark Souls, and it like opened up. It's like slowly been opening up the world of different games. And so, I played Dark Souls. I played that a lot. And then recently this year, I played Monster Hunter Rise, Horizon Zero Dawn, and now I'm playing Tomb Raider. And part of the reason why I'm playing Tomb Raider is because I heard from somebody online that it was similar to Horizon Zero Dawn. And it is in some ways. Not always, but in some ways. So let's just talk a little bit about one of the ways in which it's similar to Dark Souls that sort of pleasantly surprised me, and that is with the level design. So apparently I'm talking into a microphone, and apparently this game has voice controls. Let me turn those off. Okay. So let's just talk about this level. So there's a checkpoint bonfire here, and you get to it fairly early in the game. You have to do a few levels. Wait a minute, where is it? You have to do a few things first, but after not too much time, you encounter this checkpoint bonfire right down here. And when you reach it the first time, this crashed plane is not here. So you reach this bonfire, and you have to go this way, and I'm going to try to kind of show you what you have to do. So again, this plane was not here, but I'm just running up here to get to a vantage point. So you can see there's like this big mountain right here that I'm looking at. And you can kind of imagine there being this side of it kind of to the right, and this side of it to the left. And when you first reach this point, you cannot get to any of this stuff on the right. You can't get to those stairs right there. You can't get to any of that stuff in the background, and you can't even get to that house back there, that house that has 2 ropes climbing off of it. You really can't get to any of that stuff on the right. You can get down there where that thing is burning, but you can't get to the house. You see there's like a chasm. And you can't get to any of this stuff up the mountain that's to the right. So everything to the right is sort of off limits, but everything to the left you can get to. But the thing is, they still let you see everything on the right. So you go through this experience of like, wait a minute, let me get there. And you can tell that there's items there because this game has this move, which lets you see, it highlights like points of interest and collectibles and stuff like that. So you can see that there's collectibles in that house, and you're like, let me get to that house, but it won't let you. It won't let you. And so you have this gameplay experience of having to sort of guess, like, well, am I supposed to go there now, or am I not supposed to go there now? And this is one of the things that reminded me of Dark Souls, because Dark Souls and Sekiro and the FromSoft games, they like to show you the area that you're getting to next. Sometimes you're not getting there for a long time, sometimes you're getting there in just a little while, but they like to show it to you so you can see it. But they don't always make it clear that you can't get there now. So as a player, you can spend a lot of time, you know, trying to get there. And it's kind of this, I call it frustrating, but I think it's frustrating in a good way. Because you spend all this time, you're like, and then finally like, okay, I guess I can't get there. And you move on. And then when you do finally come back, it's really, really satisfying. So like this house here, when I first got here, I was able to get over here just by jumping. I couldn't make this rope. But I couldn't get to this house. I can't make that rope. So I tried to like jump. I tried to do all this stuff, and I couldn't do it, and I had to just move on with the level. And then, wouldn't you know it, after I had played a little while, one of the things that I found was the rope arrow that lets you shoot this arrow. So when I had an opportunity to come back here, I came over, I shot the arrow, and now I can get up here. But when I first got up here, so I got up here, and there was like an important collectible like over here, something kind of good, and there were a few other things. But this door was not open. It was boarded up with like these boards, and I couldn't get through it. But I was able to get over, to walk over here, and I could see, and you can see from some other vantage points too, that there's another entrance to this house. It's on the other side of the building, and but you can't get to it because, see, I'm blocked here. I can't jump over there. I can't grab and crawl. So I was just like, you know. So then that was another time where I thought, well, do I need to just approach it from a different angle? And by this point, I was able to go up in these mountains up here. So I spent a lot of time up there trying to figure out, like, how do I get there? How do I get there? And I couldn't get there. And eventually I just gave up, and I continued with the level. And then, as the level actually takes you into this place where you end up falling through a bunch of, like, you know, pitfalls, and you end up way, way low, and then you walk out here, and there's a little path that you can take back up, and eventually you can reach that platform up there where you can shoot the rope across and finally make it into this house, into the other door. And then when you get into the other door, by this point you have the shotgun weapon. And the shotgun weapon is what you need to blow holes in boarded up doors. So now you're able to blow this door open and complete the loop. So, you know, basically there are I would say three points in the game where this bonfire over here, the one that I started at, is, you know, your current bonfire. You know, it's your current bonfire when you first reach it, and then it becomes your bonfire again when you get the rope ability, and that brings you back here, and then it becomes your bonfire again when you get the shotgun ability, and you can blow that door open and come back here again. And now, where I'm going next with the story is going to be through this door here, down this path here, and then there's going to be all this stuff, and this is all new, and I haven't been there yet. So this sort of like, this path, now, there have been a lot of other bonfires. If you look at the map, you know, everything that I'm talking about is sort of in this area here, and meanwhile the game has taken me all up here and around through here. Like, it's been taking me to all these far locations here, and every time it ends up bringing me back to basically this this location. And now we're going to go here. So I would compare it almost to like Firelink Shrine. I mean, like, plot-wise, it doesn't seem to be in a very important place. There's no NPCs here, and there's nothing particularly special about where I am, but it has that Firelink Shrine type feel to it, in that it continues to be like my active bonfire at several points in the game, even as I progress. So that's been really cool, and I've been really enjoyed that sensation of like I said, that initial frustration that you can't seem to do something that you know is right there, and then you kind of give up, you're forced to give up, and then you come back later and you have that moment of realizing like, aha, now I can do it, and now I know why. And I'll show one other quick thing at the risk of making this go on too long. Hold on. This game had another thing like that, which was in this same area. And it was over here. Let's see here. Yeah, so like up here, you can see there's a burning thing on a rope. And previously, there was like a hanging sack next to it. And if you could get it to swing into the sack, then you could light it on fire. But when you first get here, you have the trouble of not being able to do any of that stuff. Specifically, you know, the only thing you can light it on fire with is your handheld torch, and you can't reach this thing with your torch because this is the only place you can get to, and it's too far away. So you can't light it on fire, and even if you could, there was no way to push it into the sack. And then so that's when you first show up. And then when you get the rope ability, now you're able to do this move, where you can pull things and make them swing. So you come back here initially, you have the rope ability. It's like, okay, now I can make this thing swing into the sack. But the object is to make the fire touch the sack, and you can't light it on fire because there's no way to light it on fire from over here, even if you make it swing towards you. But over here, this door, this used to be boarded up. So you can't get to it over here, so you just figure, well, I can't get to it over here, I can only get to it here. So you get this one tool, you try to use it, it's still not enough, and you're like, well, what the hell, what am I supposed to do? But then later on in the game, you get a second tool, you get the shotgun. So now you can blow this door open, light this thing on fire, come back over here, pull it, swing it, and it lights the sack on fire, and you finally get the reward, which... the reward was not really worth it. I thought the reward should have been much better. I think it was just some experience points or something. But it was just funny that I went through this, like, I spent so much time, like, studying this one little thing, and like, how am I gonna get it? And it was, like, driving me nuts that I couldn't get it, but I just had to come back later. So that's really the lesson that I've learned for anything else in this game. If I can't get it right away, you know, look around, give it a good look, but just know that probably you have to come back. And I think it's so satisfying when the thing that I really, really obsessed over ends up being like not just the place you come back, but like the main place you come back, like this house. I spent so much time worrying about this house, so it was pretty satisfying that it ended up being the path forward into the next area. So anyway, yeah, I'm really liking this game. I like all the exploration. I like that, you know, as like a non-combat person, I like that a lot of the exploration does not involve bad guys. It's mostly just puzzling and trying to figure out where to go and what to do, and you don't have to like fight bad guys every step of the way. Most of the enemies in this game seem to be non-respawning. There's some like respawning animals and stuff that you can kill in case you like really need to farm experience or for some reason. And a lot of the item boxes, like the ammo boxes, seem to just respawn over time. So if you run out of ammo, I think if you just wait, more ammo will show up. There aren't any animals right now, though. I'm not sure why. Maybe I need to warp out of here and come back. But the human enemies seem to be mostly it's one kill and they're gone. And so you can come back, even if you fight through an area and it's tough, you can come back later and really just sort of explore it at your leisure. And the game wants you to do that because it tells you all this stuff, like if I go to the fast travel menu here, it'll tell me that, like, this is the very first area. This is the first bonfire, Sheltered Ridge, and it tells me there that there's, like, I only found 3 out of 5, you know, GPS caches, so there's 2 of those to find. There's 2 relics to find. There's 3 documents to find. Do I really care about that stuff? No. I'm not going to go back and look for it. The only stuff I really care about are the tombs. The other stuff I don't care about that much. But if I wanted to really go explore for that stuff, I could, and I wouldn't have to fight enemies. I could just go look. And this stuff is hidden pretty well, that I think even without enemies, it's a good sort of challenge in a mental way. You know, it challenges your sort of your puzzling. You know, even just getting to the top of that building initially, you had to kind of find, there was like a very specific way. You had to run over here and jump up on these crates that were right here, and this was the only way up. And then once you were up here, you couldn't, I don't even think you could reach that, so you had to jump over here, and then you had to jump to this thing, and you just have to go a very specific way. But then once you get to the top, you're able to make these rope bridges back down, so you can sort of shortcut your way back down, and even shortcut your way back up. See, I can just like crawl up here now. Now this game came out in 2013, Dark Souls came out in 2011, and Demon Souls even before that. And you know, one of the things, because I've played so few games, I think in the past I've attributed things to being like Dark Souls inventions or Dark Souls. I just assumed that Dark Souls invented it, but probably Dark Souls was just doing what a lot of other games do. Like, I thought Sekiro invented stealth, but they didn't. They're just using a mode of stealth that Horizon Zero Dawn and a lot of other games have used. So I don't really know, like, did Dark Souls invent level design like this? And particularly, like, the wrapping and re-wrapping back to checkpoints. Reusing the same, shortcuts and reusing the same checkpoint. Did Dark Souls invent that, or did they just do it really well? I'm not sure. I always just assumed they invented it. And this game coming after Dark Souls, maybe this game borrowed from Dark Souls. But, you know, I say that as a person who never played any of the earlier Tomb Raiders. Maybe they're all like this. They just have worse graphics. I really don't know. I don't know much about Tomb Raider. But I do like this game enough that I intend to continue it, beat it, hopefully. If the combat challenge isn't too hard, I hope to beat it. And then if I beat it, I will move on to the next two Tomb Raider games. They're all old at this point. They're all cheap. So I'm excited to get a chance to play them. Alright, that's it.